Are you perhaps a newer streamer thinking about multi-streaming to both Twitch and YouTube? Maybe first overwhelmed by the amount of service options available and just want something easy and free to use? Maybe wanting to save some of your time and get your Twitch VODs on YouTube instantly instead of exporting every single time. Or just simply wanting to do karaoke streams without any headaches, but are worried about your music being in the VOD background, causing muted segments, warnings, or even the dreaded copyright strike. Well, I'm back at it again with another hopefully easy tutorial. I'm Musa, the one who handles all the technical stuff behind the scenes for me and my sister, Misa's Streams. Before you continue with this video, there's just a few requirements. Make sure that your bandwidth and rig can handle multi-streaming in the first place. And second, make sure you have the RTMP OBS plugin installed. You can check the description for the link. So what this video will talk about is how to briefly set up VOD tracks for Twitch and the RTMP OBS plugin settings that you will need to accomplish this for YouTube. FYI, Twitch is set up as a main channel for us, with YouTube as a secondary, therefore the video will be oriented that way. What this video won't cover is explaining in depth of setting up Twitch VOD tracks, since there are a million videos out there on how to set this up. The optimal multi-stream settings for your setup, which also have a million videos out there to explain, and also vertical streaming. We are keeping it simple for now and just focusing on horizontal multi-streaming. I also kind of forgot to mention in this that this is only for YouTube and Twitch, not Kick or TikTok or any of those other sites. So if you haven't noticed by the title, then I don't know what to tell you. Even though the risk is low, it still should be mentioned, and it should be known by now, that you can still get copyright strikes during live streams when you play music, so please proceed with caution. Now it's time to go to your OBS settings. To make things a little bit smoother, it is better to start off with Twitch as your main service, so make sure that's selected up here. Now it's time to go to Output, and make sure your output mode is on Advanced. Under Streaming, you should have the Twitch VOD track checkmarked here, and set up your Twitch VOD track to be anything but number 1. So number 1 should have every sound that you want, including your music. That is what will go to your stream. Your Twitch VOD track should have everything but the music. So make sure to select a different VOD track than number 1 for Twitch. Mine is on number 2 to make things easy. And everything else should be okay. Now it's time to take a peek at the tracks of all the audio going to our live stream, Twitch VODs, and YouTube VODs. If you have the audio mixer dock enabled, click the little cogs in the bottom right corner to quickly access advanced audio properties. So a new window will pop up, and it may look overwhelming, but don't fret. First, dictate what will be the audio track for your YouTube VODs. Ours is 3 to make it simple. In the end, the audio track number 1 is for our live streams, audio track number 2 is for Twitch VODs, and audio track number 3 is for our YouTube VODs. Now you basically uncheck the audio sources you don't want going to your Twitch and YouTube VODs, so in this case, it's audio tracks number 2 and 3. For example, we have Spotify unchecked for number 2 and 3 and some alerts, since we know those will trigger partially muted streams. You should comb through your sources and do this one by one. At this point, you should also have the RTMP OBS plugin installed using the installation instructions that were given. If not, please check the description for the link. Then make sure you add the multi-output window as a dock in OBS. It should look like this. In this multiple output dock window, you'll click Add New Target. This will open up a new window where you will enter all of your YouTube stream settings. In this new window, make sure you name this YouTube, the protocol set to RTMP, and if you know it, start filling out the URL and stream key sections. If you still don't know how to find those, you can go ahead and Google it or look up a video. There's tons of information on how to find those. As for video settings, you can have the same encoder settings that you have currently in OBS, or you can set it to different values. In our case, we have everything set to different values. This is really up to preference and what you can handle. The most important settings here are your audio settings. Make sure that the encoder is selected to be your actual encoder and not to reuse the OBS encoder. Now for audio mixer and VOD track, this is going to be the YouTube VOD track that you set earlier. For us, it's number 3, and make sure that these numbers are matching here. Now to make things easy, I like to have our Twitch and our YouTube start at the same time when I click Start Streaming in OBS. So we have check-marked the sync start with OBS and sync stop with OBS and other settings as well. Now in the same window, make sure that everything in the output tab is the same for video settings, audio settings, and other settings than in the service tab. If they aren't, make sure to update accordingly. Also, you don't need to touch drop threshold, IP address family, or bind IP. That's not really relevant, and it will work without touching those. Make sure to click OK after you complete everything in order to save. And that's it! After a pretty quick setup, you should be good to go to live stream to YouTube and Twitch with no audio-related issues. I hope this helped, and if you have any questions or want to point out anything I've missed, I'd be happy to answer.